You must have watched Three Idiots, right? Amir's character Rancho explains what textbooks are, remember?
Instruments that record, analyze, summarize, organize, debate, and explain information that are illustrative, non-illustrative, hardbound, paper-jacketed, non-jacketed, forward introduction, table of contents, index that are intended for enlightenment, understanding, enrichment, enhancement, and education of the human brain through sensory route of vision, sometimes touched.
But according to some leaders of our country, there's only one purpose of textbooks that matter: politics. Seems like textbooks today are hell-bent on changing the history of our country. You know, when you can't make history, you just make it up.
There are many things in the history which was not true, so which gives the moral strength for the student about the nation. So they had removed many parts which gives Rashtriyata, which create love for the country.
This is Karnataka's education minister. He says there are many things in history which are not true. My question to all of these ministers and leaders is simple. Was what I studied in school completely wrong that now these changes are being proposed? And what's the need? And why can't you leave my textbooks alone? Aside from the fact that Mr. Nagesh can't gather his thoughts, Karnataka has seen huge protests over the changes proposed in the textbooks recently. But it's not just about Karnataka. These protests have happened in the past as well and might happen in the future too. The Karnataka education minister said that only one side of the history has been told in our textbooks. I hear you, Mr. Nagesh, but if changing governments keep changing the text in books, then forget the children. Even adults will be confused. RSS founder Keshav Hegrewar's speech was added to class 10th Karnataka textbooks in a chapter related to freedom struggle. If I remember correctly from what I read, which by the way I don't know anymore, Hegrewar did participate in the freedom struggle but on a personal account and was jailed for it. However, none of the RSS texts mention or encourage people to fight against the British. So if the textbooks pitch him as an RSS leader and talk about the freedom struggle, it can be seen as a discrepancy. And then Mr. Nagesh said that this increases the feeling of love for the nation when we have already read the struggles of freedom fighters like Bhagat Singh, Mahatma Gandhi, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, and the list goes on and on. Enter Rohit Chakratirtha, who has been appointed as the chairman of the review committee, the committee which was constituted after the BJP government came to the power in Karnataka. He has termed the entire controversy as a political witch hunt. Mr. Chakratirtha, could you please help us understand on what grounds does one decide what remains and what goes from our textbooks? And let me tell you, I am simply asking this because many like me are going through an existential crisis. And all these changes that have been done to our textbooks now or in the past, why do we never really hear in public domain as to what is being debated to be added or removed until the changes have been done completely? Apart from the RSS founder's speech, chapters on revolutionary and freedom fighters Bhagat Singh, Mysore ruler Tipu Sultan, Lingayat social reformer Basavanna, Dravidian movement pioneer Periyar, and reformer Narayan Guru have allegedly been removed from the syllabus. The Karnataka education minister Mr. Nagesh has gone on record and asked people to wait for the books to be out in public domain, and he has also said that the chapter on Bhagat Singh has not been removed. The NDA government in 2014 appointed a committee headed by TSR Subramanian to draft the National Policy on Education, which was submitted in April 2016. Since then, there have been changes made or proposed in many states across the country. Recently, Bhagavad Gita was added to the syllabus of class 6 to 12th in Gujarat as a compulsory component. Now just FYI, before you come at me, no one's denying the significance of Bhagavad Gita. And yes, we know that it has been translated into many different languages. But the move to make it a compulsory component has raised eyebrows. There's a book called Divided by God, written by Noah Feldman, where he writes in detail about how the American elite of 1820s, who were mostly Protestant Christians, decided to introduce the Bible in the education curriculum. Now, most folks didn't care about it, but the Catholics and Jews of course had a problem. Catholics went on to question that why was Bible being taught in schools when it actually has to be taught by a priest. And Jews saw it as an imposition of Christian belief. The fundamentalist belief that US is a Christian nation was challenged in the US Supreme Court in the 1940s, which advocated the separation of state and religion. Now, some may say that Bhagavad Gita is not religious text, which I as a well-meaning Hindu completely understand, but we can't deny the fact that Bhagavad Gita comes from religious connotations and origins. So making it compulsory in a secular nation must have a reason. India is a free country where people have the free will to explore texts from various thinkers, writers, and various religions. But before these changes are made on account of reducing burden on children, the governments should make proposals and reveal in public the changes that are proposed to be made. It should also make public the credentials of those on the committee deciding what needs to be added or removed from the textbooks. It should also make public the credentials of those on the committee who have been given this responsibility to review. Added to this, we know that India is a country of many religious faiths. So when a government chooses to put its weight behind one religious text and ignores the others, it sure looks like an endorsement. No, I'm just asking. What do you think?